If I never invested again, my $100,000 portfolio would turn into just around $13 million at age 65. But I don't plan on stopping anytime soon. Actually, I plan to do the exact opposite. The next couple years, I'm going to continue increasing the amount of money I invest every month. And this theoretically should give me the opportunity to retire in my mid to early 40s. And if I want to continue working, it'll give me the opportunity to live and give like nobody else. I just turned 25, and so today I'm going to be talking about how I got this much money in my first 24 years of life. And then we'll be breaking down exactly my investment accounts and what I am invested in currently. And if you guys could hit that subscribe button, it would be heavily appreciated. I don't have that many subscribers, and in full reality, you'll probably never see this channel again, and so it shouldn't hurt you at all just to hit the button. All right, so let's go ahead and break down how I got this much money into my investment accounts in the last 24 years. And in full honesty, it was more around 18 months I went from $0 to $100,000. And no, nobody gave me any of this money. It was actually quite the exact opposite. I spent a lot of years of my life very, very poor. I was scrounging meals out of trash cans, doing whatever it took to get through life. So in mid-2024, I finally graduated college. I sent myself there and worked really, really hard to go to school and get through it all without debt. So unfortunately, having to get through college without debt meant that I had about $0 to invest until I was 23 years old. So since then, I've been working very, very hard at my daytime job and side hustling like crazy, and that has allowed me to invest about $5,000 per month. So this money continued to stack up into my different retirement accounts in my traditional brokerage account. And at this point, at the end of 2025, I have nearly $100,000 invested. So for full clarity, here is the breakdown of my accounts and how much I have in each. All right, so starting at the top, we have my Roth 401k. My employer is very kind and contributes 4% match. And so I ended up having about $44,300 saved up in there. This is money that I will not touch until retirement. Same thing with my Roth IRA. I've been contributing the last 1.5 years, and that money has grown substantially to $21,890. My third account is a traditional brokerage account with $32,620, and this is my general savings account for a house or for a Corvette. Not quite sure yet, but I'm going to probably let this money continue growing to about $1 million before I spend it on anything big. In my fourth account, this will make more sense in a minute, but is another traditional brokerage account with $3,270 in it. So as you guys can see, the last 18 months has been very, very heavy in investing. I've put a ton of my money into my accounts here, especially my traditional brokerage accounts. And as of this past year, my rate of return has been around 19%. And this is just due to the way I invest, and I'm super happy about that. But my way of investing might not be for everybody. So let's go ahead and take a look at how these accounts are broken down. All right, so I tried not to cover the gameplay completely, but I had to do what I had to do. So anyway, here is my pie chart here. And most of my accounts reflect this pretty closely. One account does not, and I will explain that in a minute. So generally, all of my money that I invest goes into one of these 5 things. The first thing is SPMO. I've got 12% of my money in here. This is a Momentum S&P large cap stock fund. And over the past 10 years, it has averaged, I think, about 14 or 15%. Now, while it's Momentum, it's a little bit more risky because that strategy might not work forever for investing. But for right now, I am keeping 12% SPMO. Next, on the right, we've got VOO, and I've got about 30% of my money invested into that. Now, what VOO is basically an S&P 500 fund. This typically appreciates around 11 to 12% per year and has given me some pretty stable gains, to say the least. Next, we've got QQQ, and about 40% of my money is in this. Now, QQQ is a technology-based sector ETF, and it is highly, highly risky, but it pretty much tracks the NASDAQ fund. And I guess if we look at the NASDAQ, over the last 50 years, it has produced about a 14% yearly return, whether it's got gain that year or loss. So I thought QQQ, I can tolerate that risk. I'm still in my 20s and probably will end up with a 14% gain, just like the average has always been. And I guess some years the money might go down, some years it might go up heavily, but 14% is not a bad return. Next, we've got VTI. 15% of my money is invested in this. VTI is more of an international fund, and it kind of helps stabilize my portfolio. If something was to go wrong with the American stock market, then I've got some good international funds saved up in there to kind of balance it out. Finally, we have crypto, which is 3% of my entire portfolio. Crypto has not performed very well for me, but I continue to keep that number at around 3%. And again, this kind of is a stability to my portfolio. If the stocks go down, crypto typically goes up. And, you know, if Bitcoin does hit $1 million in the next 40 years or whatever, I would love to be a part of that. So 3%, I do not want to go any more in that in crypto. It's more of a fun thing for me. So anyway, that is my total portfolio breakdown. And if you've made it this far in the video, I'm real curious on your portfolio breakdown. Go ahead and leave a comment. Let me know what you are mainly invested in. And I'm pretty curious to see what you've got and compare it to the breakdown that I just gave you guys here. All right, now we're at the fun part. As today marks the last day of 2025, I wanted to talk a little bit about my plan for 2026. So just like I said at the start of the video, for the last 18 months, I've been able to invest about $5,000 per month into the stock market. This money is pretty much everything I have left over after my living expenses. And again, to preface, I live very, very cheap. I live in the cheapest apartment. Get the cheapest food, cheapest healthy food, and don't spend any money on myself. So literally everything else goes straight into the stock market. So in 2025, I lost a little bit of money just due to some odd factors. I guess number one is I had to spend a ton of money getting my official architect license. So that kind of drained a little bit of money that I could have been investing into the stocks otherwise. Also, I have got a new car that I purchased at the start of 2025. I am finishing up that payment plan, and I'll have actually paid that off super duper early, exactly in 1 year's time. And I'm doing this just to solely build a credit score. So because I did this, money has kind of gone a little bit to that car payment. And I could have had more money invested if I hadn't done this, but this was all by choice. So in 2026, I will have my car paid off and I don't have to spend any more money getting any more licenses. So after that, I should be able to invest about $2,000 per month more, bringing our grand total up to about $7,000 per month invested every single month, which after the next year, at the end of 2026, I should have around $250,000 invested. And again, this is if things go according to plan exactly. So as we know, the stock market can go up or down depending on the year, depending what's going on in the economy. Fear, greed, whatever's going on can affect the stock market. My calculations are based off of me continuing to get a 12% return in the market, as a lot of people have done the past 5 to 10 years, which I think is fine, but some people like to call their investment gain average at 10%. Fine by me. But for me, I use the 12% in my calculation just because I've been able to outpace that the last few years. So $250,000 invested. You're probably wondering what's next. So I will continue to invest my money year after year and continue to grow this money until I hit around $1.5 million invested. And I should hit that number around 31 or 32 years old. And what this number signifies to me is that if I wanted to stop investing, which I may also not, if I stop investing, I will be able to retire at exactly 50 years old and have $20 million in the stock market, which I think is absolutely absurd. So $1.5 million at 31, 32 years old would be fantastic. But most of the time, things do not go according to plan or plans change. So take this with a grain of salt. So I guess in full transparency here, my goal is to hit $20 million by age 50. If I could hit it sooner, it would be fantastic. But I also can see myself buying a house in the future and having kids, which may, affect the amount of money I'm investing quite a bit. So I'm racing as fast as I can to get that 1.5 million so I can stop investing if I really, really need to and have no effect on my life. So why $20 million? Well, $20 million, if you pull out 4% per year, I'm just doing some quick math in my head, but I think it should give me around $800,000 per year to spend on whatever I want. So when I'm 50 years old, about $800,000 with inflation would really be equivalent to about $400,000. And so I think that $400,000, if I pull that out every single year of retirement, I think that would be a fine amount of money to live off of. I think $400,000 will get me the cars I want, be able to give the money I want to whoever I want to, be able to treat my family well, go on vacations, and really enjoy life. I think $400,000 would be the perfect amount of money for that. Again, if you think otherwise, go ahead and leave a comment down below. But this is just my opinions basing off of what I've seen in life. And I want to be absolutely honest with y'all. I know that a lot of people cannot invest right now. I know times are tough and the markets are hard. Your time will come eventually. I understand that I am probably pretty far ahead of other people who are 25 years old, maybe even older than that. And I am very thankful that I have picked the correct routes in life to lead me to where I am today. If you don't have this much money invested, do not feel behind. Again, I am far ahead of where I should be at my age, and likely you will have time and money to retire in your life as well. So again, don't beat yourself up over this. This is just merely me sharing a little bit of my story and what I've done to get $100,000 invested in the first 24 years of my life. But again, let me know in the comments, how much do you have invested? What does it break down to in the stock market? I mean, what are you invested in? And do you feel ahead in life or not? Go ahead, leave a comment, let me know. And if you've made it this far in the video, please feel free to subscribe. Again, it's free, and you probably will never see this channel again, so it will be highly, highly appreciated. But I appreciate y'all for watching, and thank you for listening. We will see you in the next video. Peace.